Final Fantasy VII is famous for many reasons, including its gold saucer and classic date scene. So fans were eager to see just how Square Enix would implement the mid-game event into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. With a party-wide social mechanic, players were able to get a good idea of who their date would be when the time came. This is how each date scene in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stacks up against each other. If players hang out with Yuffie in the Gold Saucer in Chapter 8, there's clearly nothing more going on than two friends hanging out, but that changes a bit in Chapter 12. Once Cloud and Yuffie hop on the Sky Wheel, Yuffie kisses Cloud on the cheek, only to immediately regret it as Cloud is clearly uncomfortable. Cloud senses she is as well, and he does play up the bit of Yuffie's punches hurting him to cut the awkward vibe, so in the end, it's at least a little charming, if a little odd. If Cloud fails to form a strong bond with any of the party members in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, his date will be with none other than the NPC party members Vincent Valentine and Sid, joined by an overzealous Kate Sith. This group feels about as close as a randomly assigned school project where everyone is just waiting for it to be over. By the time the Gold Saucer date happens in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, players will have begun to meet the real Red 13. Revealed to be far more immature than he let on, Red fully embraces the spirit of a puppy while he runs around the Gold Saucer with Cloud. Things get more personal as he opens up to Cloud on the Sky Wheel, showing concern for his friends and appreciation for Cloud. Once players reach the endgame, Cloud and Barrett's relationship is much more strong and friendly than it ever was in the entirety of Final Fantasy VII Remake. The tough guy facade wavers throughout this game, but it feels gone in this moment. Barrett tells Cloud the story of how he met his late wife, and encourages Cloud to pursue his own love. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, more than the original or any work in the compilation, goes out of its way to make it clear to players that Aerith is still not over Zack Fair. Despite her romantic tension with Cloud, she still holds some sort of feelings for the soldier whose legacy gave birth to Final Fantasy VII. Seeing as her role in the party changes at game's end, this moment is a sweet date that feels like a fitting calm before the storm. Tifa's date scene is easily the best in the game. It features both lifelong allies coming to terms with their differences, trauma, and connection through awkward, flustered-filled exchanges. Ever since the original, Tifa has always been the one to make Cloud come out of his shell. It's the most intimate scene in the game and feels like a natural progression for both characters based on the history the two shared. Each date scene in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has its moments, so be sure to let us know who you ended up with, and as always, stay tuned to Game Rant.